You're watching the GameSpot co-op stage, sponsored by LEGO Star Wars: The Force Awakens.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the GameSpot co-op stage live at E3. I'm Alexa Ray Correa, your resident weeaboo princess, and I am here with my friends Andrew Renee.
Hello.
Hi, Justine.
Hi.
And Jeff Kanata.
Hey guys.
How are you guys? How are you doing?
We're great.
Yeah.
We're so excited that you're here.
I am so excited to be here. This was actually Andrea's idea. You and I were talking about, I think it was that new Nintendo Fire Emblem game, and you were like, oh, I don't really know much about...
Yeah, we were talking about Tokyo Mirage Session Sharp FE, which is still like
Terrible
a
name.
It's a tongue twister. So I had told Alexa that I am lacking a lot of knowledge when it comes to Japanese games, particularly JRPGs. And I had said, hey, what's up with this, Shin Megami Tensei Fire Emblem mashup? What's the deal? Like, what are they pulling from each of these different series? And so she was talking to me about it, and it was you and me and Susan Rent from Games Radar, and we were just like, like having a good talk. And I said, Alexa, you need to come and educate me and teach me the ways of all of the Japanese games. And also, like, I'm the first to admit I'm terrible at pronouncing Japanese words. I muck it up.
Well, that's
Then I guess
why,
we'll be the second and the third to admit.
Yeah. And
So
we're also
okay.
here because the same.
So,
Well,
teach us,
let me put on
senpai.
my senpai.
Dang it, see, I told you.
Do you speak Japanese?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we,
So,
So when you think Japanese games, I feel like a lot of people, when they say, oh yeah, I play Japanese games, I play Zelda. Are you guys Zelda fans?
yes,
Heck
super
yeah.
excited about it.
Have you gotten a chance to play the demo?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Have you played it yet?
I have not.
I have, yes.
What do you
There's quite
think?
a line at Nintendo.
Phenomenal.
It's crazy.
I'm so excited. It feels, I mean, we talked about it a little bit in the last segment, but it feels very polished already. And there's a level of polish that Nintendo brings to all their games, but to specifically to the Zelda franchise, that makes me so excited for them taking on a very Western idea, which is this open world role-playing game.
Yeah.
I mean, this is something that people have been waiting for a pretty long time. So now
Yeah.
that it's here and the entire booth is pretty much dedicated to it, I mean, it looks like a theme park over there. If any of you guys, I'm sure you guys have showed it, but it's incredible and it's really cool to sort of be able to get hands-on to play it, and that's really the only playable thing over there.
It's
so.
a little insane, though, that we're all playing it on the system that we're probably not going to be playing it on, right?
Right.
I think it's going
NX.
to be for both, right?
It's going to be
Is
for
it?
both,
Yes.
but don't they want it to sell the new ones? Like, I feel...
think there might be some secret thing that we don't know about that's going to be in the next console that we're like, all right, this is why we're going to
I
choose to do
suspect
this.
you're right.
mean, again, it goes back to sort of like the Xbox. Like, okay, you still have the 360, you can still play these set games, but you can also play it on Xbox One.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're going to, and I think there's that console transition for a lot of people doesn't happen immediately. So we'll see. I
It's
wonder what
funny,
it's gonna be.
it's funny you should mention Xbox, because what I wanted to talk to you guys about is the Microsoft press conference specifically. Typically when you think, oh, we're going to see a Japanese game, we're going to see Final Fantasy, Shenmue, Last Guardian, it's all, well, they're all Sony games, but we're going to see Japanese devs on the Sony stage. We saw Street Fighter. The first time we saw Tekken 7 for consoles was on the Sony stage. So I thought, I was really surprised to see Scalebound and then Tekken and then Final Fantasy 15 of all games on the Microsoft stage. So how did you guys feel about that? Did it feel out of place? Like, what did you think?
They traditionally haven't been, in the last couple of years, I should say, really investing in the Japanese market. I mean, they've pulled out of TGS. They don't really have a presence there. I mean, obviously, Sony is a Japanese company, so they've been in that market the entire time. So I was surprised, too, but I think it's good. I think it's a way for them to reach out to an audience that has historically been PlayStation owners and say, hey, we have great hardware too. We have partnerships to come play these games on our console.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a time when the first Xbox came out when that was a big deal. Like, Japanese developers weren't making games for Xbox, and Microsoft had to throw money at the problem and lure Japanese developers because Japan owned the video game market, and if you wanted a good game on your system, it needed to be made in the East. And things have changed so dramatically that the West has very much taken over the sort of big budget mainstream video games that sell the best.
You're right, yeah.
And it's kind of crazy how far a sea change, and now it feels like traditionally Japanese games are kind of underdogs. Even a Final Fantasy 15 with a massive budget, and as long as they've been working on it, feels a little bit like an underdog to me. Like, are the Western gamers gonna embrace it?
Well, those are the types of games that I never really got into. Like, I grew up playing first-person shooters, and Mario, granted, Nintendo is a Japanese company mostly.
It's Japanese games.
Yes, exactly. But you know, when you think of those other traditional games that they were even announcing at the Xbox press conference, I mean, I think it's kind of exciting, but also people are playing games everywhere. They're playing mobile, they're playing on handheld devices, and I love what Xbox is doing is having that cross promotion with playing Windows 10, playing on your Xbox, and sort of having that play anywhere aspect. Like, you have to do that. Like, I can't travel with my Xbox, but I can take my PC laptop with me and
Well,
still
they have a smaller
feel
one
connected.
now for you, just for you.
40% smaller.
I'm excited. It looks
No
it
power
looks
brick.
Good. It looks
There's no
really
power
good.
brick?
No.
No, it's a built-in power supply.
Oh, wow. That's
It's
awesome.
great. It's
I love how we're all
exciting.
excited about the plug.
And I'm excited. Traveling with that thing
Yeah.
was always such a
I know.
hassle.
And it's also surprising because there's also no, you were saying that Xbox Windows 10 crossover. I wonder if Microsoft is starting to push them because there's no Xbox market in Japan, but there is a PC market. So maybe that's them sort of pushing that duality as well.
And I think there's always been sort of that, you know, like the PC master race mind. So now
Oh, yeah.
you can sort of have both of those. And yeah, you might have this amazing console and you can have a PC that is 100 times more powerful. So it's going to be cool. And also interesting with VR too, because how are they going to integrate? Is this console going to be good enough to be able to handle it? You know, with the announcement of, you know, the new Xbox coming in holiday really, really far away. I'm like, you can't do this to us with this tease. So, you know, you have to have a powerful machine to be able to run all of these VR experiences. And that's going to be interesting too, because, you know, PlayStation didn't really mention anything about that. You're still running this VR experience on older hardware. So, I don't know, there's so much that goes into it. We're talking about Japanese games, so
Well, can
where
I
are we
ask-
going with this?
Let me ask you a question. I want to ask you a question.
Okay,
Alex,
go ahead.
Ray, because as a
This
fan
is a small chair.
well, it's a big couch. As you are a fan of Japanese games.
I am.
And I'm wondering how you feel about the Western influence that we see in Final Fantasy XV and Scalebound, because I actually mourn the loss of turn-based combat
As do I.
in these giant games, you know. And I look at that, what they showed on stage for Final Fantasy XV, and I'm like, jumping him, whacking his finger. It doesn't look as fun to me as some of the systems that have been. I mean, I think my favorite JRPG of all time is Grandia 2.
Such a good choice.
And I love the combat system in that, where you're jockeying for position and you're trying to queue up your attacks. Those are dying. I feel like those are only happen now on handheld systems. We're not seeing that on big consoles anymore.
I don't know, turn-based, if we're talking about Final Fantasy, the Final Fantasy sort of turned to the real time in a little bit with Final Fantasy XII, where you could use the gambit system to assign roles to other party members so they could attack how you want them to attack, but you're still only controlling one person. Then in 13, the whole system moved to the real-time combat system. I think we are, and I think as developers and as gamers, we want that immediate action. We want what action games have. We want what shooters have, where you make a decision in real time and it's done. You don't have to wait. There's not really that strategy element. You have to move really, really, really quickly. And we've seen that in 15. You saw the demo. What did you guys think of the demo?
I had no idea what was happening. I was
It
sitting
was
there
a hand
watching.
was attacking him.
I was sitting there watching it going, what's going on? What's going on the screen
Titan
right now?
wave.
I was just confused. I was like, I'm going to ask Alexa about this because
I thought you meant like your Amazon Echo.
I did too. That's really, that's really sad, but that was my first thought too. I need to get home and ask Alexa.
It is very
Alexa, what just happened at the Xbox press conference?
No, I mean,
Well, Andrea, and I just pop out of from behind a cabinet or something. I only live 15 minutes away from you. I can be there in an Uber.
but no, I met my friend
Awesome.
Alexa, who knows everything about Final Fantasy. So I just wanted to know from you, like, what was happening?
Also, can you set a timer for 15 minutes?
So,
like?
that demo was a boss fight. The Titan is one of the summons in the game. Titan is a recurring giant creature in other Final Fantasy games, so he's sort of something that longtime Final Fantasy fans have recognized. But what they were trying to do is they were trying to fight him, and I'm not exactly sure what was going on there. Something you may have noticed was a little flashing blue light, a warp point. One of the special powers for 15 is the main character, Noctis, can warp around the field, and he can warp between enemies as well. And they were not doing that, and I think that's one of the coolest things about the real-time combat of 15, and something that makes it really unique is that ability to warp. So I was really disappointed that they were not using the warp.
But the biggest role-playing game that showed turn-based combat in a Japanese style is called a Fractured Butthole.
Oh my
That was the one
goodness.
Yep.
Japanese-style role-playing game.
Yes, it is.
On display. Has nothing to do with the East, right?
No.
Based on an IP from the West, made by Western developers. So it's weird how And it just makes me kind of sad. And I think that what you said about us wanting immediate action, I think people overestimate that because people love their Hearthstone, people love
Yes,
their
they
XCOM.
do.
There's examples over and over
Yeah.
about great games that people embrace and they sell well.
Yeah.
Well, what about Pokemon? Pokemon Sun and Moon? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
Pokemon is like its own beast.
And it's,
like
again, it's
I
a
checked out.
handheld.
I checked out when there were 300. I'm done.
yeah.
There's one that looks like a pile of garbage and a key ring. Like, no more, no more.
It's just some of these games I'm glad I never actually got into because I know like Pokemon would be one of those like, yeah, I actually have to collect them all and I'm not going to be able to do anything else. So I don't know. I mean, it's sort of like this whole other world that I've never really kind of got into. So it's kind of interesting because, you know, when I get bored of this, I'm like, all right, let's go check out these other games. There's this whole other thing that you can try.
Another game that was on the Microsoft stage, Scalebound, made by Platinum Games, creators of Bayonetta, Vanquish. What did you guys think? Have you gotten to play it? Did you see the demo?
I didn't get to
There was
play
a
it.
big
Did you?
crab in that
There
demo.
was a giant crab.
I thought that was another one of those games that it felt, unfortunately, really easy to make fun of, right? So it had this over-the-top, you know, epic boss battle happening, but then he had to put his headphones on so he could rack out that much harder as he was playing. And I talked to somebody afterwards, and I was like, so do the headphones make him stronger? Are they like a buff? Does he get like special powers from them? What's
They just look
happening?
cool.
They just look cool.
They just look cool.
Really?
They're actually, I think the J.P. Kellums, the producer who did the demo on stage for Scalebound, was wearing like a copy of like Drew's headphones. So they look
Yeah.
cool. Ish.
Okay.
Like, I think they look cool. I'm really interested in that game because Hideki Kami is making it, and he made Okami. Did you play Okami?
Right.
No? Oh my God. Okay.
I love
We're
Okami.
sorry.
No, I love Okami. Sorry.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Just
I played
representing.
Okami. Yes.
Yeah.
I
so
did
that's,
not.
So that's why I'm
the Wii.
really excited for Scalebound. Another Platinum Games game. They're only showing behind closed doors here. NieR Automata. Very niche title, sequel to the original NieR. Absolutely weird. You're all looking at me like I grew a second head. It's fine.
Well, you said it's behind closed doors, Alexa. You don't need to
It's-
rub it in our face and you get
yeah.
the best appointments,
No,
okay?
I got all the weeaboo appointments. It's literally like everyone's doing like Horizon and Call of Duty and Zelda, and then it's like weeaboo list, and it's just all the Japanese games that there's made. NieR plays like Bayonetta. It's out, I think, early next year. They just delayed it. But if you like Bayonetta, like you should totally give this game a try. Like,
Very different than the first NieR, right?
oh yeah, no, the first
The
NieR.
first NieR is a full-on role-playing game.
Did you play it?
I did. In fact, Andrea, that's where the phrase
Yeah.
"more fun than it is good" came from.
Yeah.
oh.
Because I don't think that game is good, but it's
No.
really fun.
No, yeah, it did a lot of, its combat didn't have an identity, and it had bullet hell segments and platforming segments and first-person shooter, over-the-shoulder, third person, and it was just this hodgepodge of ideas. But the new one is real solid. Lots of great
good.
combat, really great. You guys haven't played Zelda yet. You already said you were playing Zelda. What
Tomorrow,
about?
he played
Tomorrow,
Zelda.
yeah,
Zelda.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Can we talk a little bit about Hideo Kojima on stage at Sony?
I was
mean,
getting
there's
to
nothing
that.
more Japanese than "what the hell was that?" I mean,
What the hell, indeed?
I don't want to go off on a rant here, but
Feel free.
Did you want to see his butt? I really wanted to see his butt. I was really hoping after the butt,
I
we
may
got
be
that.
the only one on the stage that didn't.
I was waiting for
Right
it,
now, I mean.
and then when he
I mean,
stood up,
he looked pretty good. I'm just going to say it.
Are we supposed to believe he had that child? Did he have a C-section? I feel bad that he didn't actually get to have that child naturally. Did he have that child?
well,
Is that what we're supposed to think?
we didn't get to see anything below the waist. We were sitting in our war room, and I
He had
heard
a
at least 3 people
C-section.
show his
It-
part that I can't say
That's
on live.
not, I mean, like, that's a really big scar. Like, I don't know if he's supposed to, like, have had that baby. It had a little bit of, like, a Matrix vibe to me with all, like, the ink and the plug and the things, you know?
Here's my rant on this.
Do it.
I understand that Sony is making a show, and when you have E3 as this big platform, you want to juice the crowd. Hideo Kojima's a rock star among the hardcore gaming community. It was
Yeah.
an awesome moment. It was a really cool theatrical thing, but ultimately it means nothing. Whenever that game comes out, 5 years from now, it's going to have nothing to do with what we saw. Absolutely nothing. That is bizarre imagery that I guarantee you it's going to look weird when we finally play the game because it's going to bear no resemblance whatsoever to whatever that game ends up being. They made it in a few months. That game is years away.
Fair.
It was a manipulative kind of thing to do to an audience, which is fine because you're doing a theatrical event and you're juicing the crowd, and it's a fun, cool thing to bring out the rockstar guy and show this video that really means nothing and is ultimately kind of dumb.
Are you mad?
I'm not mad.
You sound
be mad.
aggravated.
He's definitely mad.
Frothy.
mad?
You're a
Yeah,
little
he's not
frothy.
mad.
He had
Totally
that
understand
baby.
it.
I just wish he had it naturally.
Well, it's Hideo Kojima, so men giving birth is not off the table.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, thanks everyone for joining us. Japanese Games, you're watching the GameSpot co-op stage, and these lovely people will be back in a bit.